Hey guys, it's Candace. I know I'm back. Thank you for all of your support. Thanks for your emails and text. And I know I'm behind on my comments, which I will get back to answering them and all that good stuff. This week I will work on getting caught back up on that. I just kind of wanted to tell y'all why it's taken me a week to kind of get back into my thing, because I had to clear some cobwebs from my head and from my heart. So I knew it wasn't going to be a good experience going down there for my mother's funeral. My sister had texted my granddaughter, Emily, that Emily was welcome to come because Grandma loved her, but that Candace, me, and my daughter Jennifer were not welcome. So we already knew it was going to be kind of a hard thing, but I drove down there to pay my respects. She is my mom, after all, or our mom, and no matter what, that's just how it should be. So we went down there. The funeral was from 10 to 12. Well, 10 to the viewing thing, I'm sorry. From 10 to 11 was family, and then 11 to 12 was for friends, which, kind of friends and family came. It was just, one of those small little things. So, I go in there, and my sister's standing up where you sign in and stuff, and I went over there to hug her, or attempt to touch her, and to tell her that I was sorry that, our mom passed away. Well, she slung my hand and arm away from her and said, "Get the F away from here. Don't effing touch me. You're not effing welcome here." And it's not a quiet thing. She is yelling this while she's walking away from the podium saying these things. So I was like, okay. So I was not there to cause problems. I was there to pay my respects. I had wrote a small little thing that I thought I would get up to say about our mom. So, we went in there and did our viewing and stuff, and me, because it was me, my daughter Jennifer, my granddaughter Emily, and then my grandson, my 15-year-old grandson Jason, that came. And we didn't bring Brianna, thank God, because the story gets worse. So yeah, she would have definitely been traumatized for life, as we kind of are. But there is a lot of hate and evil in the world, but I didn't realize there was this much in one little family. So, everybody was civil to me as far as my sister's kids. She has 2 daughters and a son. They were nice. They at least hugged me. I told them I was sorry for their loss. And, but we really didn't talk much after that, except my nephew a little bit, because he's always been the nicest. And then my oldest uncle was there, and he spoke to me for a few minutes, but then left the room, the viewing area. And then my sister wouldn't come in there hardly while I was there. And then there were a few people that came that knew she was my mom also, and said they were surprised. They didn't know I was coming because, anyway, nobody told me that she passed away. We just happened to find out about it. Emily's friend had saw it on Facebook and called Emily. Then Emily called my daughter, and then my daughter called me. And like I had told you before, I thought my news was something else, which, Emily was upset that I even thought about that, but that's what came to my mind when, your daughter asks you to sit down. You kind of think, well, I'm prepared for this one, but no, I wasn't. So, a few people, I got to hug a few people that I hadn't seen in a very long time, and some old friends of ours from when we were really young had came. And, my sister did not like that the attention was taken off of her, but that's not what we're there for. It's was our mom's funeral. So, about quarter till noon, 11:45, no one had said anything. There wasn't any music playing or anything. So I went out in the front and asked the little guy from the funeral home if he could turn the microphone on so I could say a few things about our mom. I made sure I said our. I wasn't saying my. And he's like, no, Robin doesn't want anything to be said. It was just going to be, people coming and then maybe a song at the end, and no one was going to speak. And I said, well, I'd like to say a few things about our moms. Is that okay? And they said, well, if you ask Robin, she's in control. So I'm sure all that was discussed beforehand. So whatever. Like I said, it's taken me a little while to make sure I don't have the bad taste in my mouth, my mind, or my heart. So I was like, well, I don't need the microphone turned on because I'm loud enough. I mean, you guys haven't heard my normal voice. I mean, I can holler, good grief, across Walmart and you could hear me. And I said, well, I don't need the microphone. Can I just stand there and say a few things? And the one guy just kind of shrugged his shoulder. Well, a lot of people were leaving by then, and so I had, went out there, and because like here's the front door. People were like sitting in chairs here and right here, and then these are the doors into the little viewing room. And I said, I'm getting ready to say a few things about our mom. I said, could y'all come back in for a minute? Well, my uncle, who was sitting down, said, I'm not in the middle of this. I don't want to be in the middle of this. And I'm like, I'm not saying anything bad. I mean, I was just saying something nice about her. So I walked, went in. I went in, walked up to the front, and said, I wanted to say a few things about our mom. And I got out. She was the thrift store queen. She could find anything at a great price and still haggle it down. And before I got haggle it down, I saw my grandson stand up because I wasn't paying attention down the aisle. I was kind of talking because the majority of the people were on the left-hand side. There was a few over here, but I was kind of like eye contacting over here. I saw my grandson stand up, and then my daughter stood up, and then my sister was running down the aisle screaming, you don't effing get to pretend you care about her. You need to effing leave here. We've called the police. The police are on the way. You need to effing leave here. And snatched the paper out of my hand. Well, I told her I just wanted to say a few things about her. Well, by then she turned around and started walking back out. And so the funeral director had come down, and this other man had come, which I don't know who he was. I'm guessing he was a friend of theirs or hers, or I don't know. He was like our age-ish. And they came to me and said, you have to stop talking. She doesn't want you to say anything else, and she's asked you to leave. And I'm like, well, it's our mother's funeral, and I was just trying to say a few things about her, so in case some other people didn't know her in her younger years, he's like, well, she doesn't want you to say anything, and she's asked you to leave. And I'm like, well, I don't want to leave. And the guy's like, well, you need to sit down. And I'm like, okay. Well, by that time, my sister's halfway down the thing saying something, because I'm not listening to her, because I'm listening to what these people are telling me up here in the front now. And my daughter stands up and said, very loud, because like I said, we are loud people. She says, I didn't know love came with conditions. And my sister turned around and said, right now, get the F out of here. You are not welcome here. And my daughter said, oh, I'm leaving. So, I mean, she could have been worse, trust me, but she was not, because that was the one thing I told her, keep your mouth shut no matter what, because I knew we were going to have problems, but we were paying our respects. So she got up and went to the doors where you go out, and by now people have gotten up and they're lining out here, standing up, and they're telling her, she didn't want you here, leave, you need to leave, you need to leave now. And my sister's out there screaming, where are the cops, where are the cops? So my daughter turns around and said, all my mama wanted to do was tell her mama goodbye, and y'all have done this. This is not right. This is just not right. So now they're grabbing her by the arm and literally escorting her out of the building, out the front door. So my grandson goes with her and goes out there to the parking lot, you know, to go across the street. Luckily, she parked across the street. I did not. I parked on the funeral home property, which turns out to be a no-no. So if there's every family conflict, park in the public parking, never on site. And I can say this calmly and a little jokingly-ish now, because it's the only way I'm going to get over this. Because I have spent, oh shoot. Anyway, I did spend a whole week thinking long and hard. But anyway, so this man comes up to me with his little badge, flips it open, and says, you need to leave. She's asked you to leave. And I said, well, this man told me I can sit down. He says, no, you need to leave. The police have been called. And I said, well, this is just wrong. I mean, I didn't say it any louder than this. I was talking, I was calm, cool, collective the whole time. Even when my daughter was saying the last thing up here, I snapped my fingers, pointed at her, and told her, Jennifer, this is not the place. And I didn't really even raise my voice much then, just a little higher so she could hear me in the back. And so he shows me his badge, and I just said, is that a real badge? He says, and his hand's shaking the whole time he's holding his badge. I mean, literally shaking. And he's like, yes, ma'am, it is. And, you know, when they open their little wallet with their little badgie here, there's like this little black paper that, or fabric stuff that flips over that has your information on there, your name and everything. And I said, well, can I see your name and stuff? He's like, yes, ma'am, you can. So I took my finger and flipped it over, and it said court bailiff. So I said, bailiff, just like that. It just came out. I said, you're a court bailiff? He says, yes, ma'am, but I'm still a sworn officer of the law. I said, not really in this case. And that's when he got pissed. And he says, you got to leave. I said, I'm sitting down. And the other guy, the whole time, the little funeral man, who was only in his, like, late 20s, early 30s at that, it's like, ma'am, you've got to sit down. I'm like, I'm sitting down. I'm going to sit down. And I am. We were 6 rows back, and I was walking back there. Well, a few people had stood in the whole way that I went back there and was saying, she doesn't want you here. You need to leave. You weren't wanted here. And I turned around and I told them, I says, you know, me and my mom have been talking for the last 2 years, probably 2.5, I don't know. There was something that happened 6 years ago. She instigated it. I replied. Stupid me, put it in writing. It wasn't bad, it was harsh. But it was stuff that needed to be said that I've carried for 51 years. So, you know, the truth kind of hurts. So she didn't talk to me for 2 years. But I still, Christmas, Thanksgiving, you know, I would text her, Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, Happy Mother's Day. I mean, because that's what you're supposed to do when you're family. No matter what happens, I mean, anyway, that's a whole nother bird, but that's what started this little thing. And then when my daughter had their wreck, I guess it's been 3 years now, when they went through the windshield and rolled around on the interstate, and she went out on the interstate, and how she didn't get run over by a car is a miracle. And Emily and Brianna, this is the first time Brianna had ever locked her car seat, but that was an ordeal there too. So anyway, but so I went to sit down, and these people are telling me all this stuff, and so we sit down. Well, then we hear snap, snap, Emily, real loud, real hateful, and Emily looked at me, and then we heard it again. Yes, you, Emily. And Emily turned around, she says, ma'am, because it was my sister yelling at her. She says, you two, I want you effing out of here too. And Emily's like, looked at me, and she says, what did I do? I said, Emily, let's just leave. So we did. We got our jackets and our purses, and we got up, and we were walking down the thing, and Emily said that these people that were sitting behind, her and me, had said, when it all started, that that was her mom too. She should be able to say something about it. But there's some people in there that know better, but there's a lot of her friends, her bar room friends, that, felt otherwise. So we were leaving, and like I said, they were all out here lined up on an L. And the whole way we were out of there saying, you shouldn't have come. You weren't wanted here. You need to leave. And we didn't say anything. So when I got there, I turned around and I said, I have been talking to her for 2.5 years. I said, I have text and voice, what you could tell when you call somebody out, it tells you, your little history and how long you've talked. I said, I just talked to her 2 weeks. Thank God I did. I said, I just talked to her 2 weeks ago for like 33 minutes. That's a lot for us. And I said, I'll show them to you. Oh, no, we don't want to see that. Well, of course, you don't want to see the truth. So, or you don't want to know the truth, because that way, God forbid, she might have made some peace with me. And, she didn't forget what I said, but I didn't forget what she said neither. But I was dumb enough to put mine in an email, which was 1 page long, but like I said, 51 years of stuff. But anyway, so we get to the door, and the whole time they're telling me, the police are on their way, you need to leave. And me and Emily, I'm like, we're leaving. But we weren't walking fast, because I'm sorry, I'm not going to hurry out of there. I was not in the wrong, still don't feel I was in the wrong. And walked out the doors. Well, my grandson had run over from across the street, and y'all, this is the first time this boy has really, like, hugged me, as far as, like, really, there's a hug, hey, Mimi, and, give you a kiss and stuff like that. But I mean, he literally hugged me and started crying and said, I'm so sorry they treated you this way, that you weren't able to tell your mama goodbye. And that's when I started crying. And I told Jason, I said, Jason, it's okay. Shoot. I said, I came, I saw her. I, got to say a few things, not much, maybe 4 lines. But I did what I was supposed to do, what a daughter should do, to come pay her respects. And, that's what it was. And I just told him, I said, just take this as a lesson. And the whole time these people are saying, you need to leave, you need to leave. And I'm like, give me a minute. I'm talking to my grandson. And I mean, and we're out the funeral home doors. We're underneath the awning now on the concrete walkway. And I told him, I says, Jason, I says, just, you need to take this and learn from it and change your ways. Because, I mean, he's a 15-year-old boy. Him and his mom fight all the time. And it's just, that's what, not every teenager is that way, but that's what happens sometimes with teenagers, especially boys. They get crazy when they're 15, when their hormones start changing. So they fight, but they love each other. I mean, it's a dysfunctional family, but they love each other. And that's what, how it should be. You're supposed to stand up and stick with your family. Not just because you have so much hate in your heart and you're so jealous over everything that you just can't take it. So we're out there, and they're telling us the whole time, you've got to leave. And I'm like, we're not even in there. And they're like, no, you need to get off the property. And I'm like, well, I am. Well, they're like, well, why aren't you going to the parking lot? I said, because I'm parked over here. Because I thought parking over here by the side of the funeral home would be, I didn't know how many people were going to come. And I thought that way I could be behind the, the family stuff, because I knew I wasn't going to be part of it. I mean, I knew better. Even if any of the other stuff didn't happen 6 years ago, it still would have ended up this way. So me and Emily, we're walking, and they're following us the whole way, telling us the police are coming. Well, now the police have come, and we get in my truck, and I was sending a text to John to tell him that the police have been called. The police were called. We were escorted out, and I will be coming home sooner than I planned, because I didn't want to stay down there, because I just wanted to leave. But I ended up staying 4 days altogether, just because I spent some time with my stepsister, some time with the grandkids, and had a nice little time, even considering why I went down there. But I was at peace, per se, because I went. So we're sitting in the car, and I'm trying to send the thing, and then the police and the little Mr. Court Bailiff, which I wish I could have remembered his name, but it was just too much going on, too much screaming and yelling, and too much chaos, because that is not how you're supposed to use your Court Bailiff badge at a funeral. But anyway, so the police come up there, and I didn't even make them tap on the window. I just rolled it down. And they said, you've been asked to leave the premises. I said, we left the funeral home. He says, no, you're on private property, and they want you off the property. And I said, well, we're leaving. I had my ignition, my keys in the ignition, and I had, Emily's upset because, before we even left out of there, when I was hugging Jason, they told us that if we didn't leave right now, we would be arrested, because the police were almost there. And I'm like, we're leaving. And he says, all of y'all will be arrested. And Emily was like, me too? And they said, every one of you. Well, I'm sorry. No need for that. So anyway, we're in our car, and we're all down the window, and they tell us that we've been asked to leave. And I said, we are leaving. And they said, well, you need to leave the premises right now. And I said, I'm trying to send a text to my husband. And yes, I did use the cancer word, because I said, my husband, and John did not go with me, because he couldn't take that, and that would have broke his heart, to actually have been in there to see it and hear it. And it's just too much for him right now. And I told him, I said, I was texting my husband, who has cancer, to let him know what has happened, that I would be coming home earlier. And they said, well, you can text him across the street in the parking lot. And I said, I'm done. I'm trying to leave. And the cop's like, you've been repeatedly asked to leave. I said, that man, pointed to the bailiff guy, said, that man has asked me twice to leave. I said, I have left. I'm in my car. And the police officer says, you have been repeatedly asked to leave. I said, yes, now this is the third time. I said, you have asked me to leave. We are leaving. I said, I am in my truck. I have my keys in my ignition. And he said, if you don't leave this property right now, I will have to arrest you. And I just told him we were leaving, and rolled up my window, cranked up my truck, and we left. Well, my daughter and Jason had already left, because, it still carried on. Then come to find out that my nephew's wife, Stephanie, she had followed Jennifer out of the funeral home, threw her shoes off, and was running at her across the parking lot. It's a good thing nothing happened, because I'm telling you, my daughter could take her. But that's how bad this little bitty family funeral went. It was horrible. And when we were done, I told Emily, we drove off, and I pulled over into a parking lot, and Emily's like, why are you stopping, Mimi? And I said, I just need a minute. And I said, just give me a minute. I just need to cry for a minute. So, I did. And, Emily felt so bad. And, it wasn't her place to comfort me, but she did. And she just said, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, Emily, I said, I'm sorry, that you were treated that way, because my kids have always been treated differently because they're mine. And maybe one day I'll tell y'all all that story. Oh, but anyway. So, we decided not to go to the graveside thing because I just didn't want to go. And they can have their stuff. My sister's always wanted to be an only child, so, she has it. She's it. So then we decided we were going to go eat somewhere. And so, Jennifer didn't want to go. And Emily was talking to her. She's like, no. She says, come on. And Jennifer said, I think Mimi's mad at me. And Emily's like, no, Mimi's not mad at you. Because I could hear her, on the phone. And she says, Mimi's not mad at you. Let's go eat. And so she had to go get a car tag for her car and everything. Since she was over there by the courthouse, she decided to go do it. So we met up. Y'all, I can't even tell you where we ate. I don't even remember. But we did go somewhere. Shoot. Anyway. And so when we got there, Jennifer said, are you mad at me? I said, yes and no. She said, I know. She said, you told me no matter what, keep my mouth shut. She said, but Mama, she says, I just couldn't believe they did that. I said, it's okay, Jennifer. I said, it is what it is. And I said, I was hoping we could get through it without anything. I said, but, it is what it is. She said, and, she, hugged me and she started crying. And she goes, I just really thought you wouldn't want to speak to me. I said, Jennifer, I'm not mad at you. I mean, I'm upset, but I'm not mad at you. I mean, she only did it because she was wronged and she felt bad and she was upset for me. But, and I said, she says, well, I just didn't think you would talk to me anymore. And I'm like, Jennifer, I says, I don't have that much hate. I said, you've done way more, which she has, which has, caused all this stuff 6 years ago. And I said, but, they're your kids. You're supposed to love them. No matter what you say or do, you're still supposed to love them. And, so that was my funeral thing. So then I stayed, like I said, we went and spent some time with Jennifer and them. They came over and we ate at my stepsister's house, which my stepsister didn't even want to go to her funeral because they used to be best friends, Joyce and my mom. But they had a fallen out about 7 years ago, and all on my mom's side, and it got really bad, and Joyce just kind of washed her hands of her, and that's how they left it. And I asked her, I really wanted her to go because I knew something was going to happen. And she says, no. She says, that woman never had a kind thing to say to me since 7 years ago. And she says, and I just don't feel I need to go there. And, I didn't push her because I respected her decision. And I knew that, my mom had did her wrong after all these years. And they were, best friends, pretty much, thick as thieves. But that's just how they are. You're fine as long as you have something to give to them, as long as you have money or something they want. But as soon as you either don't have money or tell them no, then all of a sudden you're not worthy. And that's how they all are. So, and that's why, we have a very estranged everything. So, anyway. So, yeah, my sister will be coming out smelling like a rose. Basically getting everything. And I'm trying not to worry about that. because it is what it is. I can tell you that we are going on almost 6 years that John has been fighting cancer. They gave him 5 years. Nobody but my mother over these 6 years have even asked how he's doing. Even at the funeral when he was not there, no one asked, how's John? So that's the kind of selfish, hateful, evil people they are. And, you know, I've always jokingly said I was raised by wolves, but it was true. I've always thanked having the grandparents I had, my mom's mom and dad, who pretty much raised me most of my life, or I would have ended up like them. So, and it's a very hard struggle to not be like somebody. But I just wanted to come and share, get it off. And if anybody comments about it, I might not reply in detail. I will probably just reply with a heart, because I really do need, not that I want, I need to not think about it and not have anything festering in there for this. It is what it is, and that's just how it's got to be. I have more important things to worry about with John, who's lost another pound. He is going on the 30th. They're going to do the throat implant. And he'll be in the hospital for 1 day on that. It's not invasive. He doesn't have to go under, because I don't think he could make it going under. And then he goes on April 8th for another CT scan. And then on April 12th, they'll let us know if there's any point in him taking this trial drug, because it has grown since the last time. And when we were there last week on Wednesday, they said they weren't going to bother with any biopsies, and that they asked him how he wanted to proceed. And as soon as they said that, I just really don't remember anything else, because I started crying. Because, you know, just a bit too much. So, they'll let us know on the 12th if they're going to let him continue this trial drug, because if it is truly starting to spread more and grow, then they'll have to look to see if there's anything else they can try, because this drug won't be working. And so, like I said, too much on my little plate, and I just couldn't come out here and kind of stared at how I left all my stuff on here, and just couldn't get into the creative mode. And so I figured I would just speak about this and let it be done. And from here on out, I will just talk about how John's doing, and you know, about my daughter and my grandkids, and all that good stuff. My son didn't even want to come, because my son is very much like me, and he's been hurt most of his life from them, with things that's been said and done. And he just, when he got older, he didn't even want to come for my Nana's funeral, and I told him, you have to come. And because, you know, he came, but for hers, for my Nana's, but he said he wasn't going to take off any time, and didn't need to come for hers, because she was no grandma to him, which is true. And they didn't even spell his name right in the obituary. She never knew how to spell his last name. But anyway, so, sorry if this was Debbie Downer, Negative Nancy. Like I said, just wanted to share, so you would know where I've been, and that I just couldn't come on until today. And it took me a little longer than I thought, because, you know, just because I think I'm a tough bird, I'm really not. but I have managed to get it out, wallow in self-pity last week. I don't want to say it was self-pity, just in, I was more shocked that she had been dead a week and nobody bothered to let us know. That's what shocked me the most, and that hurt me the most, was that. And then how we were treated at the funeral. So, anyway. Alright, so we're going to end this on a positive thing. Next video, we're going to make something that goes in here. I know. I have got to shake this off and can't think about it. Can't hold on to this anymore. It's got to go. So I am throwing it out now, and it's gone. And I will not let it come back up and haunt me. And like I said, if you need to comment something, I will read them, but I will probably just reply with the heart, which y'all know I don't like to do just hearts. I like to reply to everybody's stuff. But, just know that if you got anything going on, you need to make peace with it before it bites you in the butt. But, and, if you've got family drama and hate and jealousy in there, you would think sometimes things would bring you together, or just at least to walk side by side. That's just wasted hope. Right here, Hope Springs. Yeah, this is where Hope Springs is, on this piece of paper. So, alright, now, so we will do that. I will tell, again, thank you for watching. Thanks for your love. Thanks for all of your caring. Like I said, I will get to my comments on there, and I will get them caught up. I do apologize for not doing it, but I forgot to bring my laptop. And then after all that stuff happened, I just, yeah, I just, and, so, I have texted a few people. I haven't told them the whole story, but I've told them a few. But I just want to tell everybody, and then, like I said, we will get back to this, and I'm going to go outside, get some fresh air before the rain comes, shake these extra little cobwebs that I've given myself on me. Just got to clear my little head, and then we will come back in and work on the project that I had planned, I don't even know, a week and a half ago. That was sitting here that you kind of saw, but I, didn't go far on that one. And so, let me close this one with, I need something to whine about. Oh, my little cow says happy. Wah. I don't know. That's not even a good one. But anyway, it's stupid. I'm just trying to cheer myself up, because, I went to a little dark place, and I didn't want to go in a dark place, and I hated to take y'all with me, but by gosh, I just wanted you to know that there was a real deep inner reason for me not being able to come back and do, because there was no way I could put on a happy face and a happy everything until I was ready for happy to come out of inside to y'all. Okay? So if that made any sense, I hope it did. Alright guys, so thanks for sticking with me to the end. If y'all didn't, I apologize for the dark, gloomy story. But, we do have the Murphy's Law. Me and my son have always joked, if it can, it has, and it will. I swear, we have to be Irish. We don't even know it. I know he's Scottish, but maybe that's, part close from there. But anyway, y'all, I will get back to my old crazy self, and we will get back to working on this. I have to flip through the Spring Sings journal, because I'm just like, don't even know where I am. And then I will get some of these things going, and we will get back to crack-a-lacking, and have some fun. Life's too short, Life is too short not to have fun, not to find something every day to smile about and laugh about, and that is my new thing. Oh, here, look, see? This is my sticky that I wrote on here. Happy, happy, no whining. So, oops, let me put that back. It's over on my little lamp. So, I have that written up there, and that's what I'm going to strive for. So, all right, now I've just, like, get too much. So, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for all your love. Here's lots of kisses from me, and I will see y'all on the next video, and we will get back to journaling. All right? Bye, guys.